Thank you, Malene. I'm going to show you a photograph. So what I'm going to try and show you is that there's indeed blood on the magazine rack, and that the magazine rack hasn't moved. But whilst they're trying to get it on the screen, you've heard that your expert, Professor Botha, explained the marks on the back of Riva as striation marks caused by the magazine rack. You've heard that, sir?
Yes, I have, my lady.
And your version today is that when you opened that door, the magazine rack was in the right-hand corner.
That's correct, my lady.
Now, and she was definitely on the floor next to the toilet, right of the toilet.
That's correct, my lady.
Now, Mr. Pistorius, then on that specific version, that magazine rack could never have caused the striations on her back.
I don't agree, my lady.
How do you say it could have?
Because Riva would have fallen at some point, my lady, and it's possible that she fell against the magazine rack. Magazine rack is a lot lighter, and it possibly could have moved when she fell. It wouldn't, unless it was pinned against a certain point, it would have definitely moved.
So when she fell, she moved the magazine rack. It must have moved.
I don't know. I can't say that, my lady.
But somebody must have then put it back where it is, where one can see it.
I don't know, my lady. I can't remember where it was when I left the bathroom. I can remember where I found Riva and where it was in the bathroom at that time.
Now, I'm going to show you just at photograph 119 that there is indeed blood on the magazine rack. 119. I'm going to show you photograph 119. I'm going to zoom into the magazine rack, and I'll show you that there's indeed blood on the magazine rack, and that on the wall next to the magazine rack there's blood that was caused by... There we go. I'm going to ask Mr. Van Staden just to zoom into the magazine rack first. Can you see the blood there?
Yes, I can, my lady.
You see the blood, but
yes, my lady.
There it is. Yes. Now there's blood smear on that, which indicates that her head must have touched it.
I guess that's right, my lady.
But that's also important to see that just right off the magazine rack, against the wall, there's another smear, hair smear, that was...
My lady, that mark looks more to me like it's a straight mark, which might have been from my sock, from my leg, when I was trying to turn around in the bathroom.
But even then the magazine rack wasn't there.
That's probably when the magazine rack would have moved, my lady.
But then there would have been an indication in the blood that it moved. And there's nothing in the blood on the floor.
There's an indication where the cursor is pointed on the wall, my lady.
Yes, but no, there's blood on the wall. I'm talking about the leg of the magazine rack in the blood. There's no indication that it slided into there. And you did not pick it up.
I didn't pick it up, my lady. That time it was maybe a couple of minutes after the incident. I'm not sure if the magazine rack moved in and then the blood carried on running on the floor. But it wasn't there when I found Reva, my lady. And the only thing I could possibly think of for the blood being on the rack is where the magazine rack was. When I moved Reva, I had her weight on me and I moved around. So that would be the only way. That I don't remember the magazine rack being here, my lady.
But it goes further than that. Apart from the fact that you don't remember it being there, your evidence is stronger than that. Your evidence is it was definitely not there.
That's correct. When I found Reva, it was definitely not there, my lady.
But then we have to test you on it, because how can you be so sure it wasn't there?
Because that's where I found Reva, my lady.
Now, that even if it moved in there just after you removed it, the blood would not have covered that area around the leg if that slided in there, Mr. Pistorius. If that leg slided into the blood, it would have not been covered in the way it is now.
I don't know, I agree with that, my lady.
And look at the droplets of blood from the big pool of blood you see there. That wasn't disturbed. It's clear droplets of blood.
That's correct, my
as she
lady.
was picked up.
That's correct, my lady.
That wasn't disturbed by a sliding leg of a magazine rack.
That's correct, my lady. There's only one point where it looks like the blood has been disturbed, where the cursor was, but those drops there don't look like it has been disturbed.
Mr. Pistorius, that magazine rack never moved. That was where she ended up, on the magazine rack with her head on the toilet.
That's incorrect, my lady.
Where was the magazine rack before this incident happened?
It was in the bathroom, my lady, towards the middle of the wall.
So is that where you kept it, towards the middle of the wall?
It's not where I kept it, my lady. It's where my housekeeper placed it. It was anywhere between the wall on the left and the wall on the right, but usually in the middle. As I said, Mr. Pistorius, that what happened after the shooting, apart from this piece of information, where exactly, in fact, happened, you broke down the door and you carried her downstairs. Now, Mr. Pistorius, yesterday I asked you a question of who we should blame for what happened, and you indicated that we should blame you. That's correct, my lady.
Who should be blamed for the fact that you shot her?
I don't know, my lady. I was scared.
No, I'm asking you. You said we should blame you for having taken her life. That's what you said yesterday, am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
Who should be blamed for you having shot her?
My lady, I believe that there was a threat that was on my life.
So, once again we shouldn't blame you for the fact that you shot her. Am I right?
I agree with Mr. Noel, my lady.
That we shouldn't blame you. Who should we then blame? We should blame somebody or something. Who should be blamed?
I'm not sure, my lady.
Should we blame Reva?
No, my lady.
She never told you she's going to the toilet. Should we not blame her?
No, my lady.
Should we blame the government?
I don't know who one should blame,
No,
my lady.
I'm asking you. You must be blaming somebody for this.
I don't, my lady. I believe there was a threat.
But we cannot blame you for having pulled the trigger. No, we cannot blame you for having shot and killed Reva. You're not to blame.
My lady, I believe that there was someone coming out to attack me.
But then the answer is, yes, Mr. Nell, we cannot blame me. That's the answer. Is that the answer?
I've given that answer to Mr. Null already, my lady.
Who should we blame for the black talon rounds that ripped through a body?
Isn't it the same question? Just
No, it's something
rephrased?
different. It deals, with the utmost respect, my lady, it deals with the ammunition.
Pardon?
It deals with the ammunition, my lady.
Yes, but
With the utmost respect, my lady, it's just something different. May I proceed with it? The focus on the ammunition in the gun.
I know you're talking about ammunition, but I'm not quite sure if the question is clear.
If the question is?
Is clear. I mean, he did have that in his possession, that we know.
We should.
Are we saying he should not have had it?
I'm asking why I had it. I would
Pardon?
get there, my lady.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
That's why I wanted to get.
All right. Okay.
Who should we blame for the black talon ammunition that ripped through a body?
I don't understand the question.
Who fired at her with black talon ammunition?
I did, my lady.
Why did you have black talon ammunition?
It's ammunition that's used for my type of firearm, my lady.
Okay. No, I won't take that any further. Mr. Pistorius, I'm putting to you, firstly, you were only two people in the house that night. You killed Reva, and you're the only person that can give us a version of what happened. You agree with that?
I agree, my lady.
I'm putting it to you, Mr. Pistorius, that your version is not only untruthful, but it's so improbable that it cannot be reasonably possibly true.
I don't agree, my lady.
I'm putting to you, Mr. Pistorius, that the court will, on the objective fact and the circumstantial evidence, make the following findings.
Maybe it should read should. I don't think Mr. Nell can say the court will make that finding. He can say that's what he will ask the court to make that finding. He says that the court will make the following finding. I think it's for the court to do that. He can say, the state will ask the court to make that finding.
Yes, Mr. Nell?
On my argument, the court will make the following findings, and that it will be my argument. Do you understand that?
I do, my lady.
On the objective facts and circumstantial evidence, I'm putting it as strong as this. The court will, Mr. Pistorius, as the only reasonable inference, make the following findings. I'm putting my argument is it will. Do you understand that?
I can't understand that, my
Okay,
lady. If
then
that's
don't.
what Mr. Null puts to the court, then that's
That
what he puts to
Reva
the court.
ate within 2 hours of you having shot and killed her.
That's incorrect, my lady.
Is it? You exclude it totally.
My lady, we've been cross-examined on this topic where I said I don't think and I don't see how she would have possibly eaten.
That whilst awake eating, that is the argument that Mrs. van der Merwe heard.
Whilst Miss van der Merwe was awake and eating, she heard an argument. Is that what I'm being asked, my lady?
Whilst Reva was awake and eating, Mrs. van der Merwe heard argument, and that is what she referred to. Reva arguing.
My lady, an argument is between two people. Miss van der Merwe said she heard one person, my lady.
The one person she heard was Reva.
I don't think she said she heard Reva speaking, my lady.
You heard that when I started, I said that this would be the only reasonable inference from the fact Reva was awake and van der Merwe heard her. I'm putting to you that Johnson, Berger, and both Stips heard Reva's blood-curdling screams, not yours.
I don't agree, my lady.
That they heard that when she escaped from you. That's why she screamed like that. Do you want to comment?
No, my lady, I don't agree with...
You shot 4 shots through the door. whilst knowing that she was standing behind the door?
It's incorrect, my lady.
That you knew that she was talking to you?
That's incorrect, my lady.
She was locked into the bathroom and you armed yourself with the sole purpose of shooting and killing her.
My lady, the bathroom doesn't have a door, my lady.
Into the toilet. She locked herself into the toilet. You armed yourself with the sole purpose of shooting and killing her.
That's not true, my lady.
And that's what you did. Afterwards, indeed, you were overcome by what you've done. That is true.
That is true, my lady.
Only because it was your intention to kill her. You realized that.
On the opposite, my lady.
Thank you, my lady. I have nothing further for this witness.
Thank you, Mr. Neil. Yes, Mr. Good.
May I just have 5 minutes to confer because there's just some of the aspects I must discuss.
We'll take 5 minutes break. You're still under oath, Mr. Pistorius?
Thank you, my lady.
Yes, Mr. Good.
Thank you, my lady. Mr. Pistorius, during cross-examination, and I'm going to ask you about this, but I'm going to read from the official record, page 1773. You said that, with reference to the door slamming, that I thought that there was either somebody was going into the toilet or that somebody had kicked the door because the door opens up near where the window is.
That's correct, my lady.
Then you carried on to say, I was hoping that a person was fleeing the house and that process had kicked the door closed. Can you remember that?
Yes, that's correct, my lady.
It was then put to you that you either heard somebody kick the door or slammed it.
That's correct, my lady.
And you then responded by saying you never heard someone kicking the door.
That's correct. I never heard somebody kicking the door, my lady. It was put to me that I either heard somebody kicking the door or slamming the door. What I said was that the door was either kicked, which resulted in it slamming, or somebody slammed it, my lady.
You then were confronted with that and you apologized because it was put to you that you heard somebody kick or slam the door. Why did you apologize?
I was confused by the way it was put across, my lady. I was told that I'd put it across in a manner in which I had said that I had heard the door being kicked or slammed, and I didn't hear the door being kicked. I said the door was either kicked by an intruder leaving the house, which resulted in it slamming. That's what I meant.
Then the second question, it won't be a lot, it's just a number of questions. Could you explain to the court, if you talk about an accident, what is it that you mean by that?
I mean the situation as a whole. It wasn't meant to be.
Now, when you were standing with your firearm pointing to the toilet door, what emotions did you experience?
I was terrified. I feared for my life. I was just scared. I was thinking about what could happen to me and to Riva, I was just extremely fearful, overcome with a sense of terror and vulnerability.
And when you heard the noise that you interpreted to be the door opening, what was the feeling that you, or the emotion that you experienced?
It was just complete terror and helplessness, my lady.
Could you please repeat that? I'm sorry, it was just a
I beg your
disturbance.
pardon. I said it was complete terror and just a feeling of helplessness, not having anything to be able to do, my lady, not being able to defend myself.
Did you consciously pull the trigger or not?
Not, my lady. I didn't think about pulling the trigger. As soon as I heard the noise, before I could think, I pulled the trigger, my lady.
But you pulled the trigger?
That's correct, my lady.
May I please the court, my lady? I'm not going to jump up and down. It's always difficult in re-examination. But I want to ask the court to be vigilant about leading questions. But you pulled the trigger. That is just what's said. That is just yes. That suggests a yes. That's not a question for the yes or no. So, my lady, I've just used this opportunity. I will be listening to leading questions, and if that could just be avoided, my lady, so that I don't have to get up and object every time.
He's correct, my lady. It followed the previous one, but he's quite correct in his objection. I agree. If I may show you photo 69. If I may just ask to blow up the magnify to some extent the denim on the floor, the trousers. Can you look at the trousers, Mr. Pistorius?
Yes, I can, my lady.
We know there was a previous photograph, 68, where it was inside out. And what is on that photo?
Well, photo 68, they're inside out, my lady. And photo 69, they seem and appear to be in a different way. The way with the outside out, my lady.
I can't see that, Mr. Wood. Is there a way of making it bigger? I can't see.
Is there a way that you can make it bigger? Could you explain to the court why you say so, Mr. Pistorius?
One can see where the belt leads across the top of the jeans at the top right. And there's no fold in the or colour change as in the previous photo, my lady.
Mr. Pistorius, at the bail application, when you deposed to your bail affidavit, was it at the time that you had access to the statements in the docket?
No, my lady, it was in the beginning of my bail. It was before the inspecting officer, Hilton Buerta, even gave his evidence, my lady.
Could you just repeat that? I could not hear you.
I beg your pardon. There was a police officer, Hilton Buerta, my lady, who was the investigating officer, who was later taken off the case, who's not here, who before he even gave his evidence, I'd done the bail statement, my lady.
When you were asked to scream in the test done, Mr. Pistorius, do you know if any equipment was used?
I remember some equipment was used, my lady. I'm not sure as to what tests were done. They asked me to be ready for a certain time to do the testing, and I did it, and it made me feel emotional, and the persons were unknown to me who did the tests.
You were asked, cross-examined, relevant to the relationship between you and Reva. Can you remember that?
Yes, I can, my lady.
I want you to look at a document. What's the last example? Could you just give copies, please? And to the court. What is, before I give it a number, Mr. Pistorius, what is that I've handed you? What document is that?
This is my Valentine's card, my lady.
Your?
Excuse me, the Valentine's letter and card from Reva, my lady.
For which Valentine's Day?
For the day when the accident happened, my lady.
My lady, would that be marked as Exhibit HHH. And what does it say? Can you read that?
The envelope says Aussie.
Could you just read everything on outside?
Yes, I beg your pardon. The envelope says Aussie with some hearts and a squiggle, and then it says on the front of the card, roses are red, violets are blue, and then on the inside she wrote the date on the left, and then on the right she says, I think today is a good day to tell you that, and then it says I love you. And then she signed it with her name and a smiley face and some kisses.
Thank you, my lady. I have no further re-examination.
Thank you.
Mr. Pistorius,
Yes, my lady.
could you please confirm if the deceased in this matter had access to the alarm remote?
She did, my lady.
And could she activate and deactivate the alarm?
I'm not sure if she knew how to, but she would have been able to if she had the remote, my lady.
One last question from me. I would like to know if you could answer if the light in the toilet, if it was working at the time of the incident.
It wasn't working, my lady.
Thank you.
Any questions arising?
None from our side.
None, thank you, my lady.
Thank you. Before I ask the witness to step down, I just want to make sure about something. That structure that we see there with the door, is it common cause that the structure is a replica of the toilet at the accused place? Because I don't quite remember how it was put.
Size-wise, my lady, it's a replica.
Is
It gives the correct size of the toilet, and it's a toilet door, of course, with the missing parts. But yeah, to that extent, a replica, and the extent that it replicates the size of and the layout of the toilet.
My lady, if I may add, it doesn't have a frame that's similar to the frame that I had at my house.
Yes.
Indeed, my lady. It's a replica, size-wise, layout-wise, and the way the door is fitted.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Pistorius,
Thank you, my lady.
for your assistance. You may step down. Yes, Mr.
My lady, I was informed yesterday it would go to about lunchtime. I managed to get my witness. I just need till 12:15 to confer with the witness that I have all the documents, if I may ask for that indulgence.
Okay. You need until 12:15.
12:15, my lady.
Court will adjourn.
Come here, I will go to lunch.